everyone. Welcome back to my channel, and today I will be providing a personal, honest review of the Google Data Analytics Professional Certificate offered by Coursera. I chose to pursue the Google Data Analyst Certificate due to the fact that I'm currently in a career that involves a lot of aspects of data analysis, and I wanted to familiarize myself more so with the common tools used in the private sector, since I'm currently in the government sector where a lot of those tools where I work at are different. And I wanted to just simply expand my knowledge of the common tools as I do a career transition into a data analyst in the private sector. It took me about 4 months to complete the certificate, spending about 2 hours a day completing 8 courses, or about 2 courses a month on average during the span of that time. The skills that I learned primarily in the certificate are the data analyst process, which essentially just goes over the process from start to finish that a data analyst has to go through in order to properly answer the question, and also to get to a place where they're actually able to share and provide insights to stakeholders. And also the other hard skills that I would say I learned are Excel, SQL, Tableau, and R programming language. Now, I will say that I think that it is great and important to learn the data analyst process, which is what the certificate primarily focuses on, since if somebody does not know the data analyst process, even if they use the tools, they may not be using the tools properly to get the proper insights and information necessary. Now, I will say my next is that most of the Excel knowledge was extremely basic, but I do think that learning how to use formulas and pivot tables was essential. I would just say that the reason why I felt this way is just because for over the past 5+ years, I have used Excel on the daily basis, and I'm very familiar with basic practices of Excel as well as formulas and pivot tables. Due to that, honestly, the information was not new to me personally, but for those of you who are not so strong in Excel, this course does a great job at taking someone with no experience and doing a great job of familiarizing themselves with Excel. I do think the SQL course was pretty good since it was easy to follow and learn. I picked up on the material very quickly and easily. I didn't have too many issues at all, but I will say that I think part of this may have been due to the fact that I have used query language before, but it was called ad hoc query language, where instead of writing lines of code to extract data from databases, instead what you would do is just drag and drop tables from the database into a programming system that allowed you to extract queries, but it was still the same structure, and you had to understand things like primary and foreign keys. But due to that, I did indeed have a basic understanding of SQL prior. I just had to learn how to apply the knowledge and information. But through the course material, I was satisfied with the fact that a lot of the SQL knowledge explained in the course was indeed hands-on, which I personally enjoyed, since I do a much better job with hands-on projects and guided assignments versus just listening to lectures. But everyone does learn differently. The Tableau course, I would say it was okay, but this course wasn't so hands-on, which I wasn't the biggest fan of at all. And I will say it mainly just explained what is Tableau and what it's used for, but I think it didn't go in depth enough for me in regards to how to use Tableau to create the best visualizations possible. But this is no big deal, since I think that it's one of the things that will probably just have to be practiced more over time in my free time or your free time when learning this particular tool. And also, I know that I can easily go on other trainings and courses and things of the nature and actually advancing my skills further. Now, one negative criticism I do have is that I absolutely did not like the R programming course. I was not a fan of the learning material at all. I think it was primarily due to the fact that I felt like it wasn't too much teaching of R programming and instead referencing a whole bunch of materials and sources that are outside of the certificate program itself. I was not a big fan of this at all, and I felt like I had to go outside of the course material to actually be able to fully grasp and understand how to use R programming. But I do think that learning this is an essential skill, since R programming does appear to be particularly for data analysis, and it is a powerful tool that can kind of do what both SQL and Tableau do simultaneously within the programming language, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Now, the key pros of the certificate, I would say, is that it's easy for beginners. If you have zero knowledge, but you're interested in becoming a data analyst, I would definitely recommend for those people this course or this certificate as the starting point. This will take you from having no knowledge to having a surface level understanding of all of the key tools, as well as understanding how the data analyst process works, which indeed is very important. Now, I will also say that I did like how it was a one-stop shop to learn all the key skills, because it does appear that in the past, whenever people would try to learn these skills, they would have to go fish out and find a whole bunch of different random sources to learn the necessary skills. But with this course, you have all the skills that you need to learn at the beginner level in one place. I also like that the course is self-paced. This is great for people who are either university students or working full-time. This is great since that way you can just dedicate time at your own pace and leisure, depending on what you have going on that day, versus having strict deadlines that you have to meet. The course was very affordable. I think it's only about $40 a month, which is very cheap. I think most people can afford this, so there's not much of a barrier to entry to actually taking this course. And the last pro that I will say of the course is the fact that it provides a project/case study at the end of the certificate. I think this is particularly valuable since while learning the skills are important, I think what's even more important is actually applying the necessary skills and the knowledge and showcasing what you learned, which is why I do think that the most valuable part of the certificate is the project. And especially since once completing the project, I was able to post my project to LinkedIn to actually show the skills that I actually demonstrated and actually learned. And I will actually showcase the project that I did as a part of the program in my next video. Now, cons of the certificate were certain videos were difficult to follow, since a lot of the different websites like the MySQL Google Cloud website for using SQL websites do constantly updates, which means whenever the course instructors were going over the material, it was common where what they were speaking about and guiding you to do did not match up what was on the website. I will say the certificate did have a lot of mandatory pauses in the video where it clarifies what to do, but it was still frustrating because at times the website may have updated again, and even that information was not 100% accurate. So that was one downside to it, and I would say because of that, some of these courses may need to get updated more frequently than others. And I will say the last con was that I did feel that some of the information was too basic. When I say too basic, I would pretty much just say where a lot of this is things that I think a lot of people would likely already know, especially younger people, since most of us are more technically savvy. And since we're more technically savvy, that means that learning certain things are very simple to us, and a lot of stuff we will just already know for many of us. And lastly, the one question that everybody will probably be wondering is, do I think as a former student of the Google Data Analytics certificate, is the certificate indeed worth it? And I will say yes, but I think it's primarily worth it for people who are beginners with no experience. If you have data analyst experience already, then I would probably say what may be best for you is to go through their advanced course. and that is you. And I would also say that, let's say, the other group of people who I would recommend this to are people who may want to just add skills to their toolbox to better perform their job duties in a field that is not directly related to data, because you can learn some valuable skills from the different tools. Or people who are like me, where you have a job where you perform a lot of data analysis, but some of the tools that you use are different, so you want to use the in-demand tools that you will see in other workplaces and other companies/organizations. And I would say, as far as when it comes to certificates, one thing people must also remember is that there is a difference between professional certificates versus industry recognized certifications. Professional certificates do not hold the same weight as industry recognized certifications, just simply due to the fact that certifications kind of do show mastery of a skill, versus professional certificates just will show to people and employers that you actually learned and studied something, kind of like a degree, but on a lesser scale. But where the professional certificates are still important is, like I said, due to the fact that you can and do projects as a part of your programs, and doing those different projects are like creating experience in a way, which is necessary when applying for jobs. And one bonus thing I will say is, while I didn't follow it too much, the conclusion of the program does show you how to practice interview skills, and also how to demonstrate the hard skills you learned during technical interviews. I think that is one section that I will go back to later, since I'm not currently applying to jobs at the moment, but that is something that is important for people to learn, whether or not the Google certificate, then on a platform somewhere else. All right, if you made it to the end, thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and have a great day.